Okay, so here we go. So we know our bar graph. We're supposed to put some, an example of a bar graph. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but so that you remember what you got going on. Crap. Thank you. Not frozen. Not snowflake frozen. There you go. Okay, so on your bar graph, I heard a lot of discussion about what you can find. You can only find one thing from a bar graph. What is it? Liam, what is it? Okay, what is that though? The mode, right. The only thing you can find is the mode because it's the one that occurs most often. You can't find the maximum because the definition of maximum, did somebody say that?
Oh yeah, we had it right.
Yeah. You can't find the maximum because maximum by definition is the highest number. There's no numbers, so you can't find maximum.
Okay, but the outlier.
It's not really an outlier because an outlier is a value that's a numerical value that's far away from the other things. So the only thing you can find is that it's pepperoni. So the extra notes I want to put on a bar graph is this has to be categories. Okay, so it's we'll go this way. It's qualitative data. Qualitative. So we talked about qualitative and quantitative, but qualitative just means they're categories and not numbers. Okay, so maybe you want to put that in your notes. It's non-numerical data. Okay, that means it's not numbers. So if I asked you to make a graph of the types of pets everybody has, but kind of like my circle graph, this would be an appropriate way to do it because that is not numbers. Okay, so none numbers there. Okay, box and whiskers plot was in the back. So you know what he looks like. He's this guy. Okay, we found a lot of them. We've done these a lot. So this is on your test. It was on your quiz. You got to be able to make a box and whiskers plot. What things can you find from this? Let's go this way. Can you find the mean? No. How do we find the mean? How do we find mean? You add all of the numbers. You add all of the numbers. How many numbers do we see on a box and whiskers plot? We only see 5 of the numbers. We don't know how many numbers there are, so there's no on the mean. Can you find the median? Oh, yeah. The median is on your box and whiskers plot. That's the median. What was the median on the one in the back? Yeah, 75. Okay, how about the mode? No. Mode, you have to have all of the numbers to tell the mode. Okay, or you have to have a chart that says, like the pizza topping one. How about the minimum? Yep, that you can find. Minimum is on your graph, it's 40. How about the maximum? Yep, maximum is on your graph. How about Q1? Yep, this is Q1, so that's 60. And how about Q3? Yep, this is Q3, so that's 80. Now, those are the numbers you get off of the graph. Can from these numbers you find the IQR? What is it? 20. A good review for you, IQR is Q3 minus Q1. What's the range? Because that's maximum minus minimum. Can you tell if there are outliers? No. Box and whiskers plot only gives you the maximum. You don't know if that 6-hour test score, if only one person got 105 or if there's 104 and 103, you don't know. So box and whiskers plots, a couple things. This is good for comparing 2 sets of data. me remind you. I'll show you a picture in our book. You find it. Okay, so here's an example. You can use a box and whiskers plot like this, where this says, how many pairs of shoes do men and women own? Okay, like here's an example of a good comparison. You can compare shoes that women own and shoes that men own. Okay, so box and whiskers plot are good for comparison when you stack them up. Okay, it lets you compare the things. Also, box and whiskers plots are good if you have a lot of numbers. Okay, you would not want to make a dot plot if you had a lot of numbers. Okay, because then you're making dots all day. Now, pie chart or circle graph, whatever way you want to go with that, is this guy, right? It's got little pieces in there. There's a circle graph, a pie chart. Did you like in elementary school, do you call them pie charts or circle graphs? Okay. Our book calls them circle graphs, I think, and that's weird. What can you find from this? Just the mode. What's the mode? Dogs. Okay. For the same reason as the bar graphs. For the same reason as the bar graphs. If we're talking about maximum and minimum, those have to be numbers. Okay. This is not numerical data on that pie chart. It's how many people have a dog as a pet or a cat as a pet. So this is non-numerical. Okay. So if you like the big word, it's qualitative. Now, let's talk histogram. Our histogram look like this. Difference between a histogram and a bar graph. The bars can touch on a histogram, or they do touch on a histogram. Okay, now, what can you find? You can find nothing. You can find literally nothing from a histogram. Okay, so listen to me about why though. Okay, so I had a lot of discussion with people. This was on ours was 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. If you are going to find these things, you have to have numbers. Okay, and so then people would say, but I do have numbers, Mrs. Douglas. You do, but if this bin down here is all the 40s and the 50s, all the 40s, do you know specifically what numbers they are? You don't. They could all be 45, but you don't know. Maybe there's a 41, a 42, a 43, a 44, a 47, and a 49. We don't know. So we can't find anything. We can't find the mode. We just know that most people got in the 70s. Like you can give that generalization there, but you can't give me a specific mode. So a histogram is really only used for seeing the overall shape of the data. Okay? Being able to tell if it's skewed left or right or anything else like that. Okay, so a histogram, what I want to say about this is it mostly shows shape. And it's good for large sets of data. Okay, it's good for large sets of data. So if you have lots and lots of numbers, again, you don't want to make a dot plot. You want to go with a histogram. Okie dokie. So, dot plot. Right, this is not the dot plot that we had, but you just have to put an example, so it doesn't matter. That's a dot plot. Now, can you find the mean of the dot plot? Yes. What is the mean? Yes, 15.5 is correct. Can you find the median? Yes. What's the median? Yep. How about the mode? Yep. What is it? 15. How about the minimum? 14. Maximum? 18. Can you find Q1? You have to put your numbers in order, but you can find Q1. What is it? Also 15. Q3? 16. IQR, which you said a minute ago, is Q3 minus Q1. 1. What's the range? 4. Can you find if there are outliers? Can you see if there are outliers? We'll go that way. Okay. You could see if there was one. There are none here, but you could see if there was an outlier. So I want you to listen to me. The reason we can find all of these is because I can go to this plot and pull every number off the chart. Okay. Because I can see every number, then I know I can do all these things. Okay. A dot plot. So let's say, what do I want to say about a dot plot? You have to number by ones, which we talked about. You do not want it's not good for a large range of information. Okay. Because if you had numbers that went from 100 to 300, you don't want a number by ones. Okay. So if you have that, you pick a thing that is bigger than that. You have, by the way, I'm talking to you about choosing these because on your homework, they just say, here, make a graph. And you have to pick a good one. But it's very useful because you can see every number. Okay? So we'll say that. It's nice because you can see every number. Okay, let's talk stem and leaf plot. Okay, that's the guy on the front left. So stem and leaf plot has this, right? Has some numbers here, 0, 1, 2, 3, and it's got stuff out here. Okay, these are the 10s and these are the 1s. Can you find the mean from this? Yep. What is it? Yes, 28.8. You guys, this is definitely one that was helpful to put into your calculator and use your calculator to get all these things. 28.8. You can find the median. What is it? $23. Okay, you can find the mode. What was the mode? Not 5. 35. There you go. Because it was in the 30 row. You can find the minimum. What was the minimum? 0. You can find the maximum. What was it? 100. Okay, you can find Q1. Again, you would use your calculator for this. What was Q1? I got 10. 10? Okay. How about Q3? 43.5. Okay, once you have that, then you can find IQR, which would be 33.5 because Q3 minus Q1. Range? 100. Maximum minus minimum. Were there any outliers? Yeah, there was. 100. That's way far away from everybody else. Okay, so stem and leaf plot is, again, nice because you can see every number. I don't know if I want to rewrite that. I'm just going to put a little arrow up there. Okay, this guy is good for a large set of data, which means that you have lots of numbers. Okay, so if you have lots of numbers, you want to make a stem and leaf plot because you can condense it down really fast. Okay, so scatter plot. These guys are a little different. Scatter plots and line graphs. So scatter plot, I got this guy with the dots. Okay, there's only one thing you can find here. What can you find? So you can look at my graph and you can see it. What is there? There's an outlier. Okay, and that's a coordinate point. It was the coordinate point 1, 10, 10. That is somebody who had a very bad day. They studied for 110 minutes and still got a 10 on the test. Everything else does not count. Okay, this is different. This is called two variable data. Okay, in two variable data, you can't make a number line plot because it's like me saying to you, it's kind of like a two-way table thing. Okay, I would say to you, hey, how many minutes did you spend studying and what was your test score? So you're giving me two things. I can't find the average of all of those numbers because it wouldn't make sense. I could find the average of just minutes spent studying. I could find the average test score, but as a whole, I cannot find the average of everything. So the only thing you can really look at and find on a scatter plot is an outlier. Two variable data, these have to be coordinate points. So if, again, here's another example. If I said to you, hey, what age are you? And we took everybody's ages and wrote them down. I cannot make a scatter plot of that because there's only one number for everybody, not two numbers for everybody. So that a two variable data means there was two numbers from everybody. Okay, now line graph's a little bit different. So line graph is kind of like a scatter plot, except for the fact that you're connecting. Okay, the thing about a line graph is that time is always on the x-axis. So as you're doing your homework, if it's something that involves time, then it should be a line graph. Okay, so that's what I want you to put over here. It must involve time, but it's also two variable data. Okay, so again, if I ask you for your age, that doesn't go on a line graph because that's not stuff that's connected by time. Like if I ask for everybody's ages. Now, a little bit, like I said, it's a little bit weird. If you look at our gas prices, like it would be goofy for me to find the average of the months. Okay, what's the average of the months? I don't know, probably June, because you add them all up and you divide by 2, or you divide by 12. But I can find the average of the gas prices if I wanted to. I just didn't have you do it because it means you would have to estimate. That's why this little thing says only find the one with a star. But yes, you could find the mean because you could find the mean of whatever the y is. Okay, you could put them in order and find the median of y. But I did ask you to find the mode. That's why there's a star there. What's the mode? Yep. $3 was the most common gas price. You can find the minimum because this is numerical data. You can look for the lowest one. I thought it was like $2.60-ish. Somewhere in there, right? You can find the maximum, which would be what? Yep, that one I made nice so you could see it, $4.25. You could find those Q's. You would have to put all the things in order, but so you could find yes if it's Y, yes if it's Y. IQR, you could find yes if it's Y. You could find the range because you got maximum and minimum. You can find the range of the Y's. And is there an outlier? What is it? $4.25. Okay, so you guys, this is a very limited graph. Each of these graphs are good for something, but they're not all good for every set of data. Okay, so part of the deal is you have to be able to look at a description of a plot or some numbers and decide which graph to make, or which graph would be best. So what you're going to do on your homework, I'm going to give you your homework. I would like to remind you real quick, from yesterday's notes, we talked about qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative means what has to be true about your graph. I said quantitative. Quantitative, what has to be true about your graph? It has to be numbers. If it's not numbers, it's qualitative. Okay? So the first 5 of your homework just ask you if your data is qualitative or quantitative. Okay? That's pretty easy. The second section asks you what kind of graph you would make. You do not have to make it. So like one of them says, not really, but one of them says favorite ice cream toppings. What graph could you make? You make a bar graph, or you could make a circle, make a pie chart, because both of those are qualitative things. So you just gotta say, you don't have to make, and then there's 2 where you have to pick the best choice and make the graphs. So 2 where you're making graphs, everything else you're just writing words. So let me write this down for you. I wrote down a lot of notes. By the way, this is the end of the chapter. We are done, which means tomorrow we will start chapter review. What's it say? Is the quiz Thursday?
Friday.
Quiz is Friday. So, yeah, I don't know why. That was really nice of me, but I don't know why. It's just because I don't really want us to have the test on whatever day that is.
Monday.
Yep. That would be the day. There must be something else I have planned for us to do, but I don't know what it is. Okay. So 1 through 10, 12, and 13. So let's actually, well, no, I'm going to cut this out a little bit. Let's go 1 to 10 evens. Okay, that's a little bit less writing because I didn't have as much time as I thought. Okay, so Gold Star Club. I want you to do 8, 10, 12, 13. So this is actually 2 to 10 evens. Okay, so remember evens means 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you're not doing all of them, just the even ones.